Good morning. Are we on, Harry? Am I starting from here? Can you hear me? Blink. This is Monday. Welcome to my Monday morning. It's always challenging, but we get back in the seat and we do it. Am I good, Harry? All right, thanks. So welcome to LoveBabz, Love Talk on Babz Rolls Ivy. I've got a guest in about 15 minutes. Sorry for the technical issues. My morning seemed to just begin with tech issues. I don't know what it is. My desktop over here is just doing its own thing. So I'm on my Mac. I don't know what the Lenovo is doing. It is not giving me great joy. Good morning to those who are celebrating this holy season. We lost the Pope. We all lost the Pope. We lost the Pope. The world lost the Pope. So the Vatican will begin that process. And if you watch the movie, you know the process. So they're gonna be politicking up in there. But welcome to the show this morning. I hope you all had a good weekend. I had a really great weekend. There was a lot going on this weekend. A lot. I mean, I did a lot. My weekend always start on Thursday. I started Thursday at the Justice Professional Luncheon at Albertus Magnus College, hosted by the great Hall of Change folks and Hang Time folks, Charlie Grady and Michelle. Started there on Thursday. Friday, Tequila Friday over at Possible Futures, which was really nice. Saturday was the Everyday Angels honor, which was lovely. I got to just sing the praises of Susan Clinard, the extraordinarily talented sculptor artist here in New Haven, and so I got to just cheer her on and show her some love because she is such an angel. And Fallon Thomas got an award, and so it was wonderful. Linda Mickens, Karima Mickens, Ife, and Lauren. This is their project. I guess this is year 3 now. So and we get these beautiful angels as gifts. I've got a couple of them that I bought that was gifted to me and as an everyday angel. So that was very nice. So that was Saturday morning. It was like a brunch. And then I ran over to did some stuff with Markeisha, and then ran over to the Access to Law School in Fairhaven up at our Salsa Mexico restaurant to meet up with them. It was wonderful. Had a good time. Got to see some of my A2LS fellows. Took some pictures, ate some food, then ran over to Chris Randall's 50th birthday party because he lives in Fairhaven Heights. And so I went over there and wished him a happy birthday. He turned 50. He had a little shindig in the backyard. So it was really nice. It was nice. And then yesterday, brunch at Ion, had raspberry pancakes. They have the best pancakes I've ever had of anywhere. So I had them. So we went there, Markeisha, Ife, and I. We've been going there for brunch on Easter a couple of years now. And then we went to see Sinners, the Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan film. So I don't have time to get into it now because I got guests coming. But I'll talk about it. I think I'm here tomorrow. Yes, I'm here tomorrow. I will talk about it tomorrow, and you'll get the 411. But let me tell you this: it's good. If you want like fine cinematography, this is it for you. It's a great story. And the soundtrack, the music is so amazing. If you like blues and the history of blues music, and it's a wonderful film. It really is spectacular. So see it. So I'm only doing an hour this morning, and then I got to run to the dentist because last week I was flossing my teeth and I popped out a tooth. And I think it's because it's a tooth that had a crown, was a crown. And, you know, just weird. I mean, this tooth has to be like, this has to have been done 30 years ago. So it's just probably worn. It doesn't hurt, no blood, none of that. It's just old. So, and you can't see it. It's way in the upper echelon of my back. So I have to go deal with that this morning because, you know, whatever it is, it's got to be, I'm sure something has to be done. Otherwise, it will become a problem. But yeah, it's not causing me any pain or anything like that. There was no blood gushing or any of that. So that's where we are. So I am delighted to welcome Mara Vélez Meléndez. She is the playwright for this play, which is directed by Javier Antonio Gonzalez. And so the name of the play, which the name of the play is really what got my interest, you know, because it's such a it's a name. Let me because they have it all abbreviated. Okay. Notes on Killing 7 Oversight, Management, and Economic Stability Board Members by Mara Vélez Meléndez, directed by Javier Antonio Gonzalez. So it'll be here April 25th through May 17th at the Yale Rep. I'm going to see it. I think I'm going to see it May 1st. I think I'm seeing it opening night, May 1st. Which is next Thursday. So, and it is a Puerto Rican playwright writing a Puerto Rican story with Puerto Rican folks. I think it's directed by a Puerto Rican. So, so I'm interested in talking to Mara, and I believe one of her actors is coming on as well. Christine Carmela, and she plays Lolita in the play. So so they'll be on, and they're gonna really give me some sense of what this play is about. Do you know what I mean? So I'm delighted. I am very, very delighted. So Christine is a cast member, so she'll be on. And let me tell you a little bit about Mara Vélez Meléndez, since I got some time. Or, you know, maybe I won't, because they're coming on at 9:30. And just as they come on, I'll give you a little background on them, so that when we start this all over again, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I don't think it's been a while since I've seen a Puerto Rican play by a Puerto Rican. And I know a Puerto Rican playwright in town. I was just with her for Story Week in March. And I want to talk more with her. I've got to reach out and get back in touch with her. So I can talk to her about what she's up to and what she's working on. So anyway, so if you like theater the way I like theater, then you might want to see this play. I don't know, Harry, you might want to see this play too. I mean, you and your peoples is Puerto Rican, so you might dig this story. You might dig it. So let me give you a little bit of. Yeah, so I'm delighted to have this conversation because I think it's important. And you know, I'm one of these people. Representation matters. It matters, and there are Puerto Rican actors and Puerto Rican playwrights, Puerto Rican storytellers, and their voices ought to be centered. And we should admire. So anyway, That's the way of the world. And I think the weather is nice. It looks bright out, not as bright as it normally is. And forgive my light, because I could not get my desktop to work this morning. I don't know what the problem is. It might work now. And I think, Harry, too, it looks like the system has changed, which I don't understand. It looks like it is. It has changed. So I just feel like, I mean, I could see if I could log in, but it was doing that bouncy thing. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at this, and I'm just gonna work from this system. See how it goes. I got some light. I don't know if this is good light. I feel like I'm in the Batman cave. And so Harry, you hear me, and I think I can hear you if you say something. That's all. This is wild.
Hello?
Okay, I hear you. Because I don't use the Mac like this, so I don't know where my I don't know where all my things are for my all my stuff. But we'll make do. So anyway, the weekend was great. Easter was beautiful. I did not go to church, and I just didn't go to church. I'm having a disconnecting church vibe these days. So I don't dislike church. I'm just saying, you have these moments when you're like connected and not connected. So that's where I'm at. I'm in that space. I'm in that headspace of not being connected, at all. So, that's it. Oh man. So Harry, you should go see Sinners if you haven't seen it already. You would like it. You would like it. All right. I guess we should you're gonna start us up again, start us all up. Then I can start with talking about them and their work. So I could do that. Does that sound good? Hello?
You talking to me, Babs?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm working on a show for Preston.
Oh. All right. Because our guests are coming on at 9:30, so I thought maybe we would start the show again and I could read the notes of who they are. Unless, is that still what you want to do?
Yep, I'll play the music and everything.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get it on. Ah, baby. Da, da, dee, da, 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 dee, da, da, da. Should I be talking? I'm talking. I guess I'm talking. I should be talking.
We're not waiting for them?
Yeah, no, we could get started now. And then when they come in, we'll just bring them in. Because, they got 20 minutes. You know how fast that's going to go, Harry. I need some better light. I got a light lamp over here. I should probably put a different bulb over here so I could brighten it up a little bit. Woo! Good morning. Welcome to LoveBabz LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. I'm delighted to have Mara Vélez Meléndez, the playwright for that. Now, let me tell you something, Mara girl. I love this title. I saw this title. I was like, what in the world is this going to be about? Notes on killing 7 Oversight, Management, and Economic Stability board members. Yeah, girl, you got to tell me about this title. And you're a Puerto Rican woman. And this place got all the Puerto Ricans in it. I love it. What is this about?
Born and raised. No, it's a long title because we take, the play's title is a riff on the Congress bill that was signed in 2016 called the Puerto Rico Oversight, Management, and Economic Stability Act. So by 2016, Puerto Rico's credit debt had blown to exorbitant levels. A lot of loans, a lot of bonds, a lot of money borrowing that nobody was looking over, essentially. It was just happening government by government. Every administration would do the same over and over and over again. So it eventually ballooned into the island owing $70 billion.
Whoa!
So Congress under Obama passed this act, the Puerto Rican Oversight, Management, and Economic Stability Act, which is commonly known as PROMESA, as the acronym PROMESA, which ironically translates to promise, and gave Puerto Rico this unelected board of 7 members. It gave the power to restructure the island's debt, impose fiscal austerity, close hospitals, close schools, get rid of essential services, only for the restructuring of these debt, right? For the repayment of the debt. Some of these board members were actually Puerto Rican as well. Some of them are American. They're all bankers, financiers, just like people you don't really hear about, people you don't know. And that's where our main character, Lolita, comes in. And Lolita is inspired by a previous Lolita in Puerto Rican history. She's inspired by Lolita to go in and murder the 7 members of the board, right? Like as a revolutionary act. However, when she gets there, she realizes that the receptionist that receives her has different plans. Because the receptionist realizes that she's not ready. She's not fully ready to go in there and do the deed. And the receptionist, who nights as a drag queen, then develops this huge drag show where they play as all the members of the board, and Lolita then rehearses each murder to see at the end of the night if she's ready to go in, if Puerto Rico is anywhere close, if we have found ourselves in a different place, if we have found community. It is a very kaleidoscopic drag extravaganza that balances self-identity and politics all together in a beautiful show. It's a wild show. I'm so excited if you get to see it. I'm so excited that Connecticut gets to see it. Lots of Puerto Ricans in Connecticut.
Listen, my producer Harry Jones is Puerto Rican, so listen. Are you ever surprised, Mara, that people don't understand Puerto Rico is part of this country? Do you people tend to think that it's some faraway place that is not connected.
Right. No, totally. It's like, a lot of people over here don't know. There's also a lot of people in Puerto Rico that are unaware of these terms and conditions, right? Like there's a lot, and this is why I wrote this play, because this is such a convoluted colonial history that like nobody has a straight answer on Puerto Rico. Therefore, they just put a huge question mark on Puerto Rico and keep it going. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico's over here like accruing all this debt that is just running us to the ground. And when the states finally comes in and does something, they just send somebody to police our budget and police our debt. Um, but it is, at the same time, I'm not surprised that people in the States don't understand what's happening in Puerto Rico to the fullest extent. At the same time, that's like a weird blessing in disguise of why we should be an independent country, Like they're like we're part of a beautiful collection of islands in the Caribbean, and all these countries somehow have like um, succeeded in gaining their independence, but Puerto Rico was under the yoke of Spain for the longest year. Puerto Rico was one of the few, if not one of the first, if not the first land that Christopher Columbus stepped on. So like from then on, it was under Spain up to 1988, where the U.S. won Puerto Rico as a booty of war in the Spanish-American War. And ever since then, we've been under the yoke of the United States. However, in 1952, um, our governor at the time, Luis Muñoz Marin, was very close with JFK and wanted to really be buddy buddies with JFK. And for the first time ever, JFK essentially sent a bunch of companies to Puerto Rico to industrialize it and helped Luis Muñoz Marin develop our first constitution, which gave us just a little bit more of autonomy. We were still a commonwealth under the United States, but under this new constitution, we were deemed a free associated state, un estado libre asociado. Now, what does that mean? We're still trying to figure out. It's a very confusing term that like gave us a little bit of freedom, but it reminds us that we are very much policed by the United States, and you won't be able to do much if the United States doesn't sign off on it. And yeah, no, and here we are. We're still under the same constitution. We're still trying to get by,
I mean, you just had a blackout on the island.
Mm-hmm.
Are your people all right over there?
My people are all right. My friends are slowly getting power back, but it's like, I grew up in Guaynabo, which is essentially the Long Island of San Juan. If San Juan is New York, it's a metropolitan area, and and I have family in the countryside, very far countryside in the west, in those mountains, and it is those people I'm always thinking about. Like it's literally houses in the middle of the forest. It's houses in the middle of the woods with like poor infrastructure, poor ways of getting this power, poor ways of getting water. Thank goodness water is fine up till now, but yeah, no, it's very scary. And the thing is that this has happened a lot of times in the last few years, where an island-wide blackout goes on, and there's really nothing to do but wait, like there's like what are people gonna do? Like people go into Twitter and tweet at the new private electric company all they want. The people mobilize, but it needs to be a complete change in infrastructure for us to actually see a brighter future.
So this play is very much rooted in the political moment. Do you always feel compelled to have some kind of political oversight in your work? Like, do you feel compelled to bring something of Puerto Rico to every play, or something about the history of Puerto Rico or Puerto Rican people? Like, where is your responsibility? How deep is your responsibility to your craft?
Well, actually, this is so funny you asked this because I moved to New York in 2017 and I started my playwriting MFA around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I always told myself, like going into my MFA and like getting ready to write like a bunch of plays because that's what you do in your MFA. I told myself I didn't want to be the Puerto Rican that writes Puerto Rican plays, you know? Like I didn't want to be boxed in because coming from Puerto Rico, like there is such a healthy history of theater there, but not only like a healthy history of theater, but a healthy history of magical realism and non-realism and types of works that you're not going to necessarily find in the US. So I was ready to tackle that. However, 2017 was also the year when Hurricane Maria hit.
Mm.
I was in New York, taking classes while I saw all of that happen. I saw how the university that I had just left was completely razed and like just it was very skeletal, very spooky. Everything was very scary. And that was the point where I shifted because if I kept suffering the effects of Hurricane Maria throughout the following weeks, years, months, I saw how the media just like talked about this for like maybe a couple of days and then on to the next thing, right? Like it's a very quick media cycle. And it was very alarming to me that all of this like horrible news were not being talked about. My family was still without power when I started realizing that I wasn't hearing it in the news, like that my friends over here in the States stopped asking about what was happening in PR. So in that moment, I felt all of this responsibility fall on me, right? And at the same time, I'm not counting on that. I'm going to be a huge star that like all of these plays are going to get done and talked about, right? I just write from my heart and write what I really want to write. And the frustration was so big at that point that I took the plunge and decided to write like my first like Puerto Rican identity play. And it was met with such love that I kept going. And one of the following semesters, I sat down and wrote Notes on Killing. Because
Mm.
like I was very much Notes on Killing is a very loose adaptation of this other Henrik Ibsen play called John Gabriel Borkman. And John Gabriel Borkman sort of like it's about this banker that steals money, finds his morals throughout his life, and then the play finishes with like the banker absolved of his sin, essentially, Very old play. And I read the play and I was like, I don't want to forgive bankers. I don't like if I'm going to adapt this, I'm not gonna do what the play says. So that's when I started like figuring out what this play was going to be. And at first it was just this very, very non-realistic kaleidoscopic work of role playing.
Mhm.
We're trying to like role play this board to try and understand it. Um, However, during that time, I also started finding myself and I started hormones and I started understanding that I was ready to not be the man I was born as and start my
Mhm.
life as the woman I was slowly being constructed as, especially in the city of New York, where it's like it's not like it's easy to be trans in New York, but it's easier to be trans in New York than in Puerto Rico. Um, so that's when I started writing notes, and it just like time massaged the play into what we're going to see today, which is a very fluid conversation between national politics and self-identity. Because I believe that we are only going to figure out our national identity if we understand our very own identity, our each individual identity, And that is a ride in of itself. And it's not like I'm trying to solve Puerto Rico's problems, but if we can get to talk about them, that would be great. You know?
Mara, you have a lot of layers here. Because, I mean, Puerto Rican woman, trans woman, right? Very committed to your Puerto Rican heritage. And often the two worlds do not mix, you know. How do you navigate this? How do you and what's it like in your family? Are you embraced? Are you welcomed? Are you cared
Yeah,
for?
for sure. No, my parents love me. My sister is also trans. My sister actually transitioned first, and I was very much inspired by her and realizing what was happening. Um, there is a monologue in the story that talks about how this one of the characters' moms got like a prophecy from someone that told them that they told their mom that she was gonna have two skinny, ugly girls. And then time passes, and that mom has two skinny, ugly boys that, as time passes once more, eventually become two gorgeous, gorgeous girls. And that's something that happened to my mom. And as I was understanding how the prophecy was playing out in my family and how I was feeling myself about gender and discovering all of these things in New York, I realized like, oh, the prophecy is coming true. Like the prophecy is definitely coming true. And I feel like my mom in the back of her head was always waiting for these girls in a weird way. Like, moms love their boys.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, when we started our transition, it was very much like outpour of support. And then on the other hand, my dad was very happy to have the daughters he had never had. Like he got to be daddy's he got to have daddy's girls for the first time. No, my family is very supportive. And it's like going back to the question of like how these two themes mix, like that it is part of the play, the non-realistic approach to try and mix all of these themes, because the thing about Puerto Rican history is that a lot of things are talked about and time passes, and like there's a lot of things that happen, like the austerity, the suffering is always so much throughout the years that every single day, a nationwide blackout, every single day there's something new, and all of those things just sandwich on top of each other, and we can't like really move on until we like talk about it, but we can't stop and talk about it because we got to take care of the blackout. So it is very much intentional that these like themes don't necessarily mix, but it is also a way of me bringing comedy into the play and trying
Mm-hmm.
to laugh at these problems, like trying to laugh instead of cry, essentially. These problems have had us crying for generations now. It's not like I think anything is going to change after this play. It's not like anything is going to change if Lolita does her deed. So the best thing we can do is find ourselves and be sure of who we are and move on, like with who we are.
So tell me about the cast, Mara, because I mean this is a Puerto Rican cast, right? Puerto Rican
Yeah.
cast.
We have it's a cast of two, just two people, very two-hander, very waiting for Godot, very absurd, very existential. We have Christine Carmela, who's playing Lolita, and Zamora La Perdida, who plays the receptionist, and consequently, like all the other board members, right? Um, they are both Puerto Rican. Christine was raised in the West. Zamora is from New York and New Jersey. So very much like different perspectives of what it's like to
Mm-hmm.
be Puerto Rican in the United States of America. But they were also the cast that did the play in its premiere, New York premiere back in 2022. So I am just like, I have been eternally blessed. I'm so grateful to have them in my life, but also to understand that they are the best actors for this kind of play. They're very farcical, they're very clowny, They're very draggy, like and at the same time they bring such compassion to this story because they understand, their families understand this whole plight of colonization that we have gone through over and over and over again. It is a plight of colonization that is why they were born in the States, because in another world, they would have been born in Puerto Rico. But then, stuff happened, life happens, reality happens, and they were born in the corners that they were born in. But I am so eternally proud of them. I'm so happy y'all get to see them. We have also, as understudies, we have Flower Estefania Rios, Jan Carlos Diaz, who are also Flower's Mexican, Jan is fully Puerto Rican. It's a beautiful family of Latina trans people where we can just like ping pong these ideas and talk about the haziness that it is to be a trans Latina woman
I
in
was
the
going to ask you about that, like, in this moment, because, we had a moment where I felt like we had a moment where we were seeing trans people step into their real selves, and we were embracing that. I mean, Target had stuff, everybody had stuff. And now I'm starting to see this real turning around of almost harm and mean and ugly and dangerous, right? Moment that we're having against the LGBTQ plus and trans community.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, like it's part of the reason why I'm trans, right? Like it's like you see it a lot more out there, and you see especially I get the corners where it's like very much accepted and positive, but there is a very, very obvious reason as to why there has been a turning point in the last couple of years, and it's a mirror of the reality of this nation, but at the same time, it's not the complete reality. Like I am very much always finding corners where there are trans people, whether I'm in the deepest parts of Bushwick, New York, or upstate in a forest, like where there is absolutely nobody else. All of a sudden, it's like, that's a doll over there. Like, and the doll has a farm and doll has cows and everything. Trans people exist and they are everywhere and they have been part of our world since forever. They've been part of Latina culture for ages, like the Mayans and Aztecs always spoke about like gods with multiple sexes. Like this isn't necessarily new. It's just like a lot of vitriol and hate that is puppeteered by powers so far removed from me, And the best I can do is live my life to the fullest extent, be honest about the person I want to be, and just spread the love because it's, I'm not trans because I want to bother somebody. I'm trans because I want to spread the love. I have such an outpour of love into the world that it's just, especially now as a trans woman, I can't not but show people love. And if people want to show me the other end of that stick, then that's go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna stay over here and I'm going to continue spreading the love and spreading the love and spreading the love because there's no other way. At the same time, I wrote a very combative play that I hope lets people know how combative I am in these things, Like it's not like I can do the actions that Lolita is planning out to do, but I can definitely write a fantastical, non-realistic approach to violence and sending a message.
I love it. I love it. So it makes me think about representation matters, right? Because there's going to be trans kids who are growing up who will want to see themselves just like Black kids grow up and want to see themselves in films and stories and plays. And if there aren't any people to tell these stories, then the struggle becomes so much greater. I mean, do you feel like that you want to continue to tell stories about trans folks?
For sure. I mean, it's like every time I sit down and write, like whether it's a cast of 10 people or two, I'm always thinking about like how can that come back to Puerto Rico? How can that come back to trans people? Even if the play has nothing to do with that, there are ways and pockets to talk about these things and always keep them present. Because as you said, it's about representation. It's about having the person up there doing the thing. And for me, it's also about, having my friends get paid, like having trans people get money and like having them be able to pay the bills. I remember one show, a Charlie XCX show that she played not so long ago. Julia Fox was invited, and when she was interviewed, she was like, "Yeah, I just love Charlie because she gets friends money." And I was like, I want to be Charlie. I want to be Charlie. Like in the world that we're at, that's not hiring trans people, the best I could do is at least write a trans character, and have them get paid for it. So it's very much inherent in my work now, and especially working with the beautiful actors that I'm working at. Like you meet so many actors, especially in the trans actor circle. The trans actor circle in New York is sometimes very much a little tiny island like Puerto Rico. So you meet everybody and you know everybody, and everybody is so down to work on these very fun plays that I'm writing, because that's another thing. Like I don't want to write like hard-hitting dramas, If we're going on stage, we're going to laugh, we're going to have fun. It's going to be serious for sure, but the ways that we get there is going to be fun. Like I'm not going to expect people to buy a ticket to a show that they're just going to be in suffering with. I am suffering for them, and I will translate that into comedy and joy.
Well, I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to talk to you. I can't wait to see the play. The play begins opening night May 1st, which is the day before my birthday, and it runs.
Happy birthday! I'm also
Thank
a Taurus, babe. I'm also a Taurus. I see.
Yay! So, and it runs through the 17th to May 17th. So this is a good long run at the Yale Rep. Tickets are on sale now, so people can get tickets. And I think people will enjoy that. I can't wait to see it because I told you the title alone just grabbed me. And then when I started reading the notes on, I was like, oh my God, I have got to see this. And that it's Puerto Rican. So I like that.
I love that. I'm so happy you get to see it. I'm so happy Connecticut gets to see it. I want all the gay people there, all the Puerto Ricans there, everybody, we're going to laugh. It's going to be wild. It's not going to be heavy. And it's only an hour 30. You're in and out that theater in one beautiful night,
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mara. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I am cheering for your continued success.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
You too, my dear. You too. Okay, Harry Jones, thank you so much. I'm out. I'll be back tomorrow. I got to get to the dentist, but I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll talk more about Sinners, and y'all run over to Yale Rep and get your tickets for this wonderful play. I know it's going to be wild. Harry, you might want to get tickets. You and Karen could come. There's a lot of dates from May 1st to May 17th. It's a lot of dates. So I'll see y'all later. Thank you, Harry.